Toronto, Canada, Uber Eats couriers say that the new pay system is dropping wages. How are you supposed to make money, right? Putting yourself out there like this guy during essential times, and $3.99, using that as an example. It's enough to buy a loaf of bread or 2 liters of milk, but far from Ontario's $14.25 minimum hourly wage. And yet Uber Eats couriers working in the province say they're earning as little as $3.99 per trip before tips, months after the food delivery service implemented a new pay policy in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. So in the middle of the COVID pandemic, both Uber and Lyft, Rideshare and food deliveries decide, you know what? It's time to cut wages. Dude, I have no clue what goes on in these executive heads. Really, it just saddens me. That's why I'm motivated and pushing, and we're going to be pushing the co-op, right? You're going to see a lot of videos coming out. We're getting a lot of traction on the co-op in Canada and in the US, so we have an answer to this nonsense. I'm making so little now that I'm thinking, what is the point of even getting out there if I'm just going to make this much and it's getting worse, said Spencer Thompson, a Toronto man who has been dropping off meals for Uber Eats since 2016. He spent hours tabulating his 2020 pay and discovered what so many of his fellow couriers have long suspected: their wages are shrinking at a time when people are relying on food delivery more than ever before. Now, I want to add to this because it's not part of this story, but you and I know that these platforms have been stealing tips. So not only you're getting a $3.99, hoping, to make the money on tips, and secretly behind your backs, whether it's Amazon Flex just got busted, Postmates, Instacart, DoorDash, they're taking away those tips. That's your money, right? I tell you what, as soon as a company does that to you, as soon as you find out they're doing that to you, walk away. They don't deserve your hard work. Right? They're not honoring you during the essential times. Thompson, for example, made about $10 per trip, sometimes involving multiple stops, in January 2020, but by December that had sank to as low as $3.99 per trip before tips. That's a $6 drop on average. The 60% drop came in a year where Thompson worked in Toronto's downtown core nearly every day of the week during the lunch and dinner time windows, where pay tends to be higher. He averaged 2 or 3 trips per hour. Couriers like Thompson, who are not formally employed by Uber, but use its platform to pick up work, worry the situation could worsen and they'll be left with fewer other job alternatives as COVID-19 continues to spread. Unemployment remains high and companies increasingly see the benefits of the gig economy. Now, I don't know Thompson, but I hope you come across this video, Mr. Thompson, and I hope, like some drivers, you go and sign up with 6, 7, 8 different apps. Try out, and see where you earn the money. Leave the apps behind that are not treating you well during the pandemic, especially money-wise. Move on, right? You got to go and sign up for all of these apps, whether it's in Toronto, whether it's in the US, Canada or the United States. Try them out and see where the money is. Figure out where the money is, because this here is obviously annoying you day by day, going out there knowing it's 60% down, knowing you just not enjoying this because you used to make that and now you make this. Not a great way to start off the day. We can't let this go on, and we can't let this happen, because if we do, the future will be all work like this, said Bryce Sofa, an Uber Eats courier and organizer with Gig Workers United Union, who recalls making $9 or $10 per trip at the start of 2020, but now averages half of that. So there's another person that reports the same story, right? This is not just an isolated incident. This is what I get in emails and text messages every day. This is what motivates me to be a voice for drivers. And not only drivers, but couriers, delivery people, right, that represent you all. And we've got to keep on pushing. So there's a few things we can do here. We can rally and get these co-ops going. We can go and expose these companies in social media and the media. We can put a lot of relentless pressure on them, but only if you get involved, only if you decide that you want to commit to some change, right? So while couriers like Sofa and Thompson have long warned of the gig economy's low pay, no job security, and lack of coverage for injuries and sickness, their concerns became even more alarming after last June. That was when Uber scrapped its earning structure, offering couriers fixed amounts based on pickups, drop-offs, distance, and time, and a series of bonuses for using the service during busy periods or in high-demand neighborhoods. By taking advantages of bonuses and more rewarding orders, Thompson would land as much as $12.15 per trip before tips at the start of 2020. The new system Uber brought in lowered base fares. Totals couriers are offered to deliver an order that fluctuate based on time, distance, pickoff, and drop-offs, and started including a trip supplement to account for lengthy wait times at restaurants or distances couriers travel to get there. Right, so as the algorithm figures out new ways to outsmart the driver, the courier, to make the margins, they constantly are programming these algorithms based on the data that they're collecting to sadly F you over, right? Under the new system, some workers were even making a little more than before, but slowly the boosts decreased, he recalled. They did it little by little, so you wouldn't notice. Sneaky, just like with the gas prices, he alleged. But you would have this sneaking suspicion. The changes made tips more important than ever before, but customers are notoriously unreliable when it comes to tipping couriers, said Thompson. Some will be generous while others avoid the extra handout altogether. Listen, people that are ordering food, people that are actually ordering a courier, a delivery person, or rideshare, these are essential times. I understand you're saving, but you're saving in the wrong area by working against these essential people, because these people are actually bringing you the food, keeping your supply chain alive, right? Transporting you from A to B. These people need to be rewarded, dear rider, dear orderer, right? So that's where you need to put the money. You can save on other ends, maybe go and save on electricity, less water, shorter showers, right? But please, I ask you, don't save there. The changes also involved upfront pricing, which shows couriers the guaranteed net amount they'll earn for a delivery before they accept the trip, alongside other details like the restaurant name and drop-off locations. This allows drivers to decline trips that they feel are priced too low. Uber, whose Eats service was first piloted in Toronto in 2015, said in an email to the Canadian press that it made changes to its wage structure, including reducing base fares to better reflect each trip's total time, effort, and distance, and include travel to the restaurant. Obviously, they have an answer for everything, right? That's just how they roll. A $3.99 trip, the company said, is extremely short in duration, and one priced at that amount with 2 stops is quite rare, but can happen. Uber Eats is committed to transparency in pricing before a delivery person accepts a trip. They're able to see the expected earnings for each trip. And as always, 100% of its tips go directly into other accounts. That's only after we've busted you numerous times. It's only after we've brought lawsuit after lawsuit are the tips actually going to the individual that deserves them. Sofa said he was disappointed with the changes because he and other couriers used to work 20 hours a week last spring and make $500, now earns $300 over the same time spent. Putting in the same amount of hours, with tips, making $300. Doesn't pay the bills. It's not easy work either, he said. Being on a bike for long periods can be exhausting, and visiting so many homes and restaurants puts couriers at more risk of picking up COVID-19. And obviously, you're driving around on a bike. It's dangerous, right? You're in traffic. It's dangerous. This guy here, this picture, he's driving around in the snow. It's what we've seen with a lot of major companies and with essential workers, this pandemic really being told that they're expandable workers. It's pretty demoralizing. Sofa wants Uber to revert to pre-pandemic pay policies, while Thompson prefers a guaranteed minimum trip rate. Thompson recently enrolled in a web development course in hopes of finding more stable income source that will allow him to pursue his love of acting on the side. So I think that is the way to go, is to really look at option plan B, plan C, plan D. Us YouTubers talk about that all the time. And sometimes you just strike the luck. You try out plan B and boy, oh boy, it takes off. Who knows? Maybe this guy's acting career will take off. He loves being out on his bike and is determined not to stop fighting for fair pay. I like that. He says he loves being out on his bike and is determined to not stop fighting for fair pay. But even he has a breaking point. I welcome you on my show. I'd like to interview you, right? Because at least you're standing for something. I need to have something that can pay me much more per unit time and still give me time to do auditions. And I realize this is not a sustainable paid job, he said. I just need to survive. So there you have that. Please share your feedback. There he is, Thompson. Again, invite him onto the show. And then all delivery or couriers, I highly suggest you go and get yourself a gig protection plan. With COVA, they've introduced this helpline here on the front page. So if you have any questions, the gig protection plans start at $7 a month. You get 1 month free with my link below. And I would just say the one really standout protection, the legal protection, in case any of these companies, Postmates, Uber Eats, any of them deactivate you over a false report, out go the legal letters to get you back in. Have a great day, and please do share your feedback. Wear those masks, stay 6 feet apart, and drive safe.